Hello and welcome to Ghost News Network. Today is November 16th, 2014. This is our fifth show, actually, together.
Yay.
Doing this show. And we got quite a lot of stuff to go over today.
Yeah, we do.
And but we'll start by introducing ourselves because, you know, we're polite like that. As always, I'm Dimitri Haratos with
Michael Carnito.
Nancy Skiri.
And hope you guys are doing well today as we bear closer into Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It's coming close. It's next week.
Yeah.
So, or not next week. We have
2
one more
weeks.
Thursday. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. So
Or, they said the Greeks pregame for everything. So for you, it might be a week.
I started
Nice.
November 1st.
That's it.
Jeez.
And that was for Easter, because you do need to build that up.
You need to build. I need to start building a lamb tolerance.
There you go.
That's it. Lamb for everyone.
This year I'm gonna do a whole. I'm gonna get the spit.
Are you going to do the coconetti?
Yeah, I always do cucurezzi.
The Greeks, that's why the Greeks, I'm sorry, much love to our Scottish friends out there, but when you can make haggis taste like bacon, you win the world. You win the internets there.
But yeah, so we got lots of stuff to go over tonight. Mainly starting with new equipment we've got, new cases we've had, an update on videos we're going to be adding to our YouTube page, things like that. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it over to Mike, and he's going to tell you what's new with Lippy in terms of equipment, and then I'll go over some of the videos and stuff we started filming and stuff like that. Go ahead, Mike.
Sounds good. Yeah, we got been really busy lately. We just added 3 new pieces of equipment to our collection. Starting off with the PSB7 Spirit Box. We see that a lot of groups are starting to use them, and we've been getting a lot of questions about it through Facebook and through our website. So we figured, let's give this piece of equipment a shot. Let's start using it, so at least we have answers for these people. We actually did use it about 2 weeks ago on a house investigation that we had, and it went well. The sessions went well. We keep them limited. We're using them about 3 to 5 minute sessions, and it's a pretty interesting piece of equipment. You pick which frequency you want to scan, whether it be AM or FM. You can pick the scan rate, which I like. It's a pretty decent piece of equipment. It's about $60. But yeah, we'll have more information on that once we start using it further. I'd say in about 2 to 3 weeks, it should be up on our website, so you could take a look at it. We also picked up a full spectrum digital camera, which is awesome. I'm really impressed with it. I was very skeptical about getting it because we bought it on eBay, and you look at digital cameras at a full spectrum there, and you can find them for like $80, $90, and I'm like, I don't know if this is legit or not. And then I found this one. It's a Nikon, and it ran about $190. And what this guy did was basically he bought a bunch of the model of this Nikon camera, and he sent them back to Nikon saying that they were broken. So Nikon took them all in, refurbished every single one of them. So they're refurbished by Nikon, sent them back to this guy, and then once they were refurbished, he took them and he did the full spectrum conversion on it. So, which is a really smart idea. The camera performs absolutely amazing. I'm actually looking to pick another one up probably for the group. We have one right now. I'm probably going to pick a second one up. That's how well it works. Once again, this will be on our website probably within, I'd say, 2 to 3 weeks tops. So we're really excited to start using that. We also picked up the Ovilus 4. Brand new model that just came out. We're still in the process of kind of ripping the thing apart and figuring out what it can do. It's got a lot of different modes on there. They have your basic dictionary mode where it shoots out words. They have another mode on there where you can hit it and it brings up the list of words that it basically says. It's got a true and false mode on it where it's got these 2 lights. It's a red and green light. If it's true, it goes to green, and if it's red, it lights up to red. What else? It's got a motion sensor built into it, almost like a geophone kind of deal, where you can place it down, and it has this line that just goes across, and if there's any movement, the line jumps up. It's got a phonetic mode or something like that, where it takes different sounds of words and it tries to create words out of that by when you ask questions. It's got some type of draw mode on there. It's got a proximity mode. So we're going to break the whole thing down for everyone and see what it can do. And we'll be putting that up on our website.
The importance, just to jump in, that we noticed just sitting here for about 20 minutes messing around with the obelisk during this past Thursday's meeting, while we were sitting down and messing with it and trying to configure it, we were texting each other.
Yeah.
To see if it would pick up the words we were texting. And he texted Mike, and then, he texted me his name, and it starts to, obelisk automatically change to start making M-sounding words.
Right.
And then I texted him something inappropriate. And it started say, as I do, and it started to say the letters that begin with A.
Right.
And so if you guys are very creative, you might be able to figure out what I texted Mike. It begins with A. It's inappropriate. Leave a message in the comment section, and I'll let you know if you were right.
But yeah, that was interesting that it was able to, start to try to say those types of words just through the text message. And now a lot of people say, well, how can it do that? Well, the technology is already out there. I mean, the government is already using it. It was just on the news a couple of days ago that the government's talking about using Cessna planes flying overhead, and they're able to pull in all the cell phone signals and basically figure out what conversations are going on through regular phone conversation and through text. So the technology is already out there. It's doable. When you send a text message, it goes through a radio wave. If this thing's able to pick up radio frequencies, it already has a dictionary. It might try to start saying the words you're texting. It's not a complex thing. It's really simple. We do know that radio frequencies do interfere with it. I do know that EMF also interferes with it. So our whole goal here is to try to figure out, how this is affected. If certain EMF signals are coming through, it's going to shoot out certain words. And if, this EMF signal comes through, it's going to say this word. And same with radio signals. So this is going to be an ongoing project to try to really figure out the obelisk. There's a lot of things on there. It's going to take a lot of time and effort to really break it down. Some things I don't like about it, I don't know if it's just one of our settings that we have, but I know when I used it at home, it doesn't just say one word. It shot out 2 words. And I had it timed out. I had it placed on a table, and it was timed out every 48 seconds. This thing would shoot out 2 words, whether I asked a question or not.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't like. Then we brought it here. It was shooting out probably 5 or 6 questions.
There was one where I think it must have jumped down and dropped maybe 8 to 10 words.
Right.
There was high. The EMF was high at that moment.
Right.
The rating on top, and I don't know what those lights are on the top, what they mean yet.
Right.
But it was, basically green light, yellow light, red light, and it was
kind of
all
like the K2.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It was all the way maxed out in red. And I don't know if it's from the EMF in the room or whatever, and it's just picking all that up, and it's generating words based on the frequency.
That's what we're trying to... And you know what it is, too? Some of those words, they come out with emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Some words will come out regular, and then there's other words that'll come out if it wants to say, leave, it'll say, leave. It'll use emotion. So I'm curious to know if every time that word is said, there's emotion behind it, or it's...
That was just
it feels.
Coming off the frequency.
Yeah, it's something that it's a lot. It's going to take a lot of time to really take this machine and really break it down and really study it. I don't think anybody is doing that. I think everyone's just taking the obelisk, whichever model they have, and then just going with it. Nobody's taking the time to really dive into it and break it down the way we're going to. Just like the K2 meter. Yeah. Everyone thought the K2 meter was this great thing, EMF meter. Nobody knew it detected radio frequencies. And that was the first thing I did was I turned on a walkie-talkie and I was able to debunk every single thing that every group out there is getting on this thing. I've been using this now for we bought this in 2008.
Yeah.
And we have never gotten a full-blown conversation like they do on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody can show me real, true evidence, I'm up for it. I'm open to it. I'm open to suggestions. I just haven't seen it yet. Have we gotten interesting things with the K2? Yes. But not as much as
frequent
claims.
Yeah.
It's so easily manipulated, and I feel that the obelisk could be the same thing.
Right.
You know,
like right. And certain words, it says really, at least when we were listening to it, like when it would say negative words, they were said negatively. Like
right.
For an example, I got unholy,
Yeah,
like words
So it
like
sounds
that
creepy.
that came in,
Right.
sounding creepy,
Right.
you know.
Well, if we can manipulate the obvious with text messages, it's just one more reason out of many to leave your cell phone off when you're on investigation.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can leave yours off. What about the rest of the world? Those signals are there. You know what I'm saying?
But the fewer, the less that you can, especially if you're in, if you're in it like a, well, not so much
I'm
Fort William
really
Henry, but like if you're
curious.
in a kind of more of a remote area,
Right.
the less noise and the less the less electronic noise out there, the better.
Right.
I know.
I'm curious what it would be like to have that running at Mount Misery Site 1.
You know what it is like?
Right next to that radio
The thing too with the Obelisk is it has a little mini SD card built into it, and you could take it out. You're not supposed to, but that's the dictionary. I think the Obelisk 4. Don't quote me on it. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say it's got a 2,000 word word bank.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have a 2,000 word word bank. Out of the English dictionary, that's nothing.
No,
that's nothing. If you ask a question, what is my last name? My last name is not programmed into this thing.
Yeah.
There's no way, unless the only way now.
I doubt my first name is programmed.
The problem with this is now whoever sold it to me, could they have obviously taken my first name, my last name, and shoved it in there? I'm sure it's a mini SD card. I'm sure they have a program where they pop those cards in and they're able to add words and stuff
through whatever
program. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but you know, it's something interesting, and I'm really curious to see how it works. I would never base an investigation off of it. I'd rather base an investigation off of somebody's feelings than base it off the Obelisk at this moment in time.
That's fair to say.
I don't know if anybody out there has been using the Obelisk, any of them, whether it's the 1, 2, 3, 0, 4.
The first one had what, a 50-word database?
500.
Oh, it was 500?
500. I believe the first couple had 500. From what I heard, the Obelisk 2 is one of the best, but it was very limited. It was a limited edition. They only made a certain amount. That thing is going for like $600-700.
Wow.
But you know, I'm curious if anybody out there is using them, what kind of stuff they're getting from them, and if they have any advice. You know, I'd love to hear it. You know, like I said, I'm a skeptic, but I'm willing to try. I'm not shut out to it. That's why we picked it up. You know, obviously it wasn't cheap. It was over $300.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So we're obviously looking to use it as a tool. You know, I'm not just here to try to debunk it, but I want to see what it can do.
Well, you have to. You have to, too.
But, yeah. So that machine, and then we're going to add what's called the Echo Vox, which is an app on a phone, actually, which we're looking to add to our collection as well. Basically, what the Echo Vox does, it's very similar to the Spirit Box. What it does is it echoes the word like 3 or 4 times, so you're able to hear it. But with the Spirit Box, if you hear something, it only says it once and it keeps going. With the Echo Vox, if something comes through, it's echoed, so you're able to pinpoint the word out a little bit better, which is interesting. You know, once again, with the Echo Vox, the Spirit Box, and the Obelisk, there are a lot of downfalls, and you really have to know what the term matrixing is in these cases. You really have to pull out matrixing and Occam's razor. These are 2 terms that if you don't know nothing about and you don't agree with them, you should not be using these 3 devices. Bottom line. You know, you cannot just take these stuff and every little thing that comes through automatically assume it's paranormal, because you're not doing the field any good. You really have to be very hard on your evidence, you know, and yeah, and the biggest thing here is record your data. If you're not recording your data through digital audio as a backup, you have nothing. You have nothing at all. So make sure you're recording everything so you can play it back, analyze it, and try to see, you know, what it is. So, but you know, we are really looking forward to using these devices, giving you guys more input in the future. Like I said, a lot of this stuff should be up on our website within 2 to 3 weeks. And I
have to say, though, about the PSB-7 Spirit Box, I thought it was really interesting because I've been investigating the paranormal for almost a decade now.
Right.
Started investigating in 2005. And when we got when I got audio, and I haven't listened to it back to confirm, but I'm pretty sure what I heard was it actually said my name.
Nice.
During an EVP session with Peppy and Carla, and that's the first time in almost 10 years I've ever heard my name said.
Yeah.
And as Mike was saying, the spirit box goes through radio frequencies. So we had it set to FM that night, and it was interesting because my name's not common. Demetrius isn't a common name. People don't say it. And it said Demetrius. Didn't say Dimitri. Didn't say Dim. Didn't say Tree. It said Demetrius. So I thought that was quite interesting. And right after I finished my session with them, I was coming down the stairs, and this was a few minutes later, so it wasn't like right away. As I was coming downstairs, Shannon was on the main floor of the house with her Echo Box. And as I'm coming down the stairs, I hear that thing say my name too.
Nice.
And I was like, wow. That's twice in one night.
Yeah,
Go big or go home, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
So it was very interesting. So and just to jump in, since we're talking about that, we did a house investigation, and it was at one of our investigators' parents' house. They're trying to sell it, so we were able to use this house investigation as an excellent training ground.
That was awesome.
For some of our new probationary members. We had 3 new probationary members with us at this house. I believe it was Liz, Teresa, and Jake.
Yeah.
And they did fantastic, first of all. And
yeah,
second
they did
of
an
all,
awesome job.
It was really good for them to get hands-on experience on a house investigation, but not have to worry about clients worrying about what they're doing and stuff. They don't have to worry about what they're doing. If they've got questions, they can ask us and things like that. And how do you feel they did? How do you feel the investigation on the whole went?
Everyone did an amazing job. I mean, the probationary members really handled themselves way more than what I exceeded. They really did awesome. They did a great and fantastic job. Also, our 2 tech guys, Carlo and Mike P. These guys, they took our DVR system. This is the first time we ran a new monitor and all brand new cables. We have a whole new way of setting up our DVR system, and these guys just freaking nailed it. I mean, they really did an awesome job with it. So, I mean, really, hands up to them.
I'm going to give you some credit. Excellent job on you setting those new cables back up, making it extremely easy to hook up the DVR system.
Yeah.
Vince, you got to see it. It's one strand now. You know how we used to have... how we used to do it, just so everybody can hear me. When we used to set up the DV cameras, we would have our CCTV camera set up in a room, and you would have to plug in the plug and run it to an outlet in that room. And then you would have to run the cable all the way back down to the main
feed,
the main DVR box. So what Mike did is he got all new wires that had both of them in there. And the wire runs all the way down. Everything goes to the DVR. And then there's a splitter at the end where you can plug the outlet straight into a power strip. So all of it is housed together. We're not worrying about multiple things going on. You just have one line going from one point to the other. And for those of you asking, you idiots, there's wireless out there. We prefer not to use wireless if we can avoid it, and we do avoid it by buying wired cables.
Believe it or not,
just because of all the interference, you're in rooms with people's broadband on and things like that.
Believe it or not, I've seen quite a few teams now through the past probably 7-8 years that have set up DVR. I don't think anybody's ever run a wireless camera. Everyone that I've ever seen use DVR at multiple locations, they've all used hardline cameras.
You just get a cleaner picture.
Yeah, I don't think many groups are running wireless. I really don't think many groups are doing it. So,
I think it makes sense not to use wireless.
The less electronic noise, the better.
Right.
Better. You still get better quality with hardwire.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
As I said, people are like, wires, big deal, what we do. It's like, but especially if you're, we've had investigations at fairly large locations.
Yeah.
And it's the little things, the less you have to deal with when you're at the location.
Yep.
And the more reliable and the less hassle. It just makes everything else better.
Yeah.
You can't really overstate, the logistics of just having electronic. It's a dumb thing, and but dumb. I put it up to quotation marks. But having stuff,
They
batteries,
can't see the finger
no,
gestures,
that's why I have
Nancy.
to tell you. Yeah. But yeah, closed captioning. But no, you said like making sure that equipment is in good repair. Making sure you have fresh batteries. Making sure that stuff is working properly before you get there.
Right.
Makes for better investigation, better quality evidence, unless you have to throw out because it's all garbled or it drops or whatever. It's the part of the unglamorous side of investigation. But sitting there staring at video for hours and hours or listening to audio for hours and hours and making sure everything's put back correctly and it actually works before you put it back, it's all part of investigation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so shout out to the tech department and you for getting that thing. But yeah, you can't. A good tech department is worth its weight.
Without a doubt. So yeah, we overall, like I said, the case went awesome. We really we had a good time. Everyone did a phenomenal job. They all did a really good job with everything set up, breakdown, and even during the investigation, everyone handled themselves really well. So shout out to everyone that went on that case. Good job. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we may just spend this entire episode talking about ourselves.
It's all about me, folks.
Yeah, right.
And then everyone turns off.
For those of you that haven't checked it out yet, we have, obviously you're on our YouTube page as you're listening to this. So go into our videos and check out, we have a new segment we're releasing. It's called Urban Myths and Legends. And the first episode deals wholly with Hanging Tree. And we had a really great time filming it. It was just me and Mike doing it. So, all the camera angles and stuff were set up by us before on a tripod. It was very guerrilla style. We did it. And it made for a lot of fun. And Andy, who does all the editing of our videos, so shout out to Andy. Thank you very much for all your hard work. You've been busting your butt. And trust me, I know how much work goes into editing those videos. And, good work on that. And check it out. They're a lot of fun. The videos are a lot of fun. And there's also even a blooper reel for the first episode. And they're fantastic. I mean, I was laughing really hard watching them. Andy played it during the meeting this past Thursday. I think everybody really, really enjoyed the bloopers. So check out the blooper reel. You can see us acting goofy and you can see our best imitation
it's the more
of
like
Dylan.
lighter side of
right.
Us,
we have something here that we call Lippy Light.
Right.
And we just want to give the people, the fans, and things like that follow us, just to see what we're like when we're not so serious. Because we do things very seriously.
Right.
As goofy as we get, we do things very seriously. So this past weekend, yesterday, as a perfect example.
There you go.
Me, Mike, Shannon, Jake, and Teresa. Right, that was it. It was just the four of us. I'm not missing anyone.
5 of us.
There's 5 of us. Yeah, me, Mike, Shannon, Jake, and Teresa. The 5 of us. I counted my fingers now.
Nice.
We all went out and we decided to film 2 more episodes of Urban Myths and Legends. And we did 2 new locations. We did Five Corners Cemetery, also known as Lake Ronkonkoma Cemetery. And we also filmed at Stony Brook Gristmill, which is, both of them are excellent locations. And we're probably, eventually, when we're doing all our conventions and stuff like that, we're going to wrap them up into a DVD and offer those to people if they're interested to get those 3 locations. But they'll also be posted on our YouTube page. Andy will be getting the footage this week, and he'll start tediously editing away to get those up on there. And I'm sure he will find plenty of content for more blooper reels as well.
I'm sure.
And it was quite interesting. And I got to say, when we were investigating, because we did all-day day shots.
Yeah.
After we finished all our day shots, we waited till the sun went down. We stopped. We got a bite to eat together. And then we went back out. And then we actually investigated the locations at night, which was fantastic. And when we went to the cemetery, went to Five Corners Cemetery, it was really cool because we actually had some experiences there.
Yeah,
right away.
Right
away, we started having experiences. I saw a gentleman standing right in front of me. I turned around and I saw a gentleman who was wearing a white shirt, he was wearing black pants. I mean, I could describe him to you.
Yep.
And he was standing right there, and I literally watched him fade away. And I was like, holy crap. And Mike had his camera pointed in that direction. So hopefully as we go through the video footage, maybe we caught something. I hope to God we did. We did not have our IRs, so the extended view wasn't as far as we would have liked it to be. But it was really cool. And then I looked, I was like, well, what tombstone is he standing in front of? And I walked around the corner, and I'm looking straight at the main Hawkins headstone. And for those of you that aren't on Long Island, the Hawkins family is a very prominent family on Long Island. They've got many roads named after them and things like that. So then as the investigation went on, we started seeing shadow people poking their heads in and out and things like that near this other headstone. And we walk over, and I was like, well, what headstone is this? And I look, and it's another Hawkins headstone. So that was that was, you know,
that was interesting.
The simplest answer is usually the right one. But sometimes it's like, sometimes the evidence is right in your face.
Right in your face.
And it's something that you can't ignore. And I think we need to do that more often.
Right.
Because I don't think we do that enough. When we're like, oh, we see something over there. What headstone is it standing in front of?
Right.
To see if that helps us gather information. To do this and have two things happen in a night and both of them be related to the Hawkins family and have two different...
What are the chances? It's
extremely interesting. And it's not like... It's not the biggest cemetery in the world, but it's not tiny either. So I found that to be quite fascinating. And then I tripped on my ass and fell.
More for the blooper reel.
As I'm falling, it was the funniest thing. As I'm falling, all I'm thinking about is the equipment, right? So I lift the camera up on my right hand, and I have the MEL in my other. As I'm falling, because I need to brace myself with something, I throw the MEL in my hoodie to put my hand out. My cell phone goes flying out of my other pocket. All the equipment was okay. My ankle hurts today, though.
That's why we can't have nice things, Dimitri.
We have nice things because I'm willing to sacrifice my body for the equipment. Just another example. Running out of Kings Park. I trip on a patch of sand. I put my hands straight up in the air and let my body belly flop to not damage equipment.
Oh, yeah. Been there, done that.
Only thing that fell was a walkie. We got 1,000 of those. So look for those. Those should be coming up over the next few weeks. Excellent investigations. Really good time filming them. Like I said, I'm sure Andy will have a lot more to add to the blooper reels, which was pretty interesting. And so be on the lookout for that.
I'm really happy that we're finally able to get this stuff on YouTube because we get a lot of people who ask us. They want to listen to the shows. They want to see the evidence. They want to hear stuff. So I'm glad that we're finally able to.
Yeah, and it's thanks to you guys asking us constantly. You know, can we see more? Can we have this? Can we have that? So
because as I said, we do have archives on our website. Which you're always welcome to go. But it's kind of
it's the same stuff.
But we can update things quicker this way, and it's something that people can. You can listen to it on an app, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, they can watch it and enjoy it.
And we'd love to hear your feedback too.
Absolutely. Like how goofy the blonde-haired kid is.
with the scraggly beard. Looking good.
Not in the first episode, but 2 and 3 will definitely be bearded Demetrius.
Nice.
So you can go and vote for, it's like that episode of Star Trek. It's like you can tell evil Spock from the mustache.
That's right. The nice Demetrius, the one with the beard.
The problem is they're both evil Demetrius. That's the problem. So. But anyway.
The lesser of two.
I digress. Please.
Mike is holding a bunch of packets in his hands, and I believe he's going to tell us all about these things.
We have 5 new locations added to our website. Starting off, we'll go out of state with the USS Massachusetts. It's a battleship. It's definitely a really cool site. It's located in Battleship Cove in Massachusetts. Definitely check that out. Then we go upstate New York. We got one is the old Warren County Courthouse. Really cool history that goes along with that place, and a little bit of interesting paranormal history as well. Check that out. We also have the Lake George Battleground. We've investigated this location quite a few times already, and every time we investigate it seems to be pretty active. So if you're ever in the Lake George area, definitely check out the Battleground. It's an awesome place to be at. In Manhattan, New York City, we have the Jefferson Market Library. Another cool looking place. It definitely has an interesting history and haunted history as well. It's a really cool looking building. I would love to get in there to investigate. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to. And last but not least, right here on Long Island, called the Plum Estate. Really cool history with this place. The actual original house, they demolished part of it, but they moved part of it to Islip Town, which is really cool. So you want to check out that location as well. We actually investigated the grounds of Plum Estate this past summer, and we did get some interesting things. It was really cool.
Chiggers.
Chiggers.
We got chiggers. Ticks
But,
and chiggers.
We'll definitely be going back there and see what we can find. So check these 5 new locations out. We'll definitely be having a lot more coming your way. So from all
And
of
we'll
our
definitely
trips
be
that
going over them on the radio
that
show
too.
too.
You know, from all the trips that we just took this past year, we're going to try to get a lot of those locations up there to show you guys, you know, what we do on our trips and where we go and what places we check out. So, you know, just keep tuning in and check it out. So
I want to ask this. I want to pose a question to all the viewers out there that listen. Post in the comments and let us know, where do you think we should go this year?
yeah,
What location would you like to see Long Island Paranormal
within
investigate?
reason.
Within reason, yeah.
You know, don't
I mean,
sit there and tell me we go to Australia because
Well,
you know, unless you're
wanna-
paying for
exactly. If
they
you're
don't go.
bankrolling it, we're off to
Right.
Mars.
Try to-
book wherever you want.
Try to keep it to northeast, but you know, if you're really set on some places in the West Coast or Central of America, we check those out. Not Central America. I'm not going to Central America, but you know,
I think
Midwest.
the flyover states.
Midwest.
you know, maybe we should get a Kickstarter. We'll go to Stanton. We'll go to the Hotel
I
Stanley.
wish.
I would love to go back.
I'd love to go
Stanton.
back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing
Would you
place.
kick it? Would you contribute to a Kickstarter campaign to send us to the Hotel Stanton?
I gotta tell you, I'd love to go back to Oheka Castle.
That's doable.
And we've
definitely
investigated Oheka Castle, and right now, just because you know it's in current affairs, Taylor Swift released a new album this week called Blank
I heard
Space,
about that, yeah.
or Blank Spaces, something like that. I don't know. I don't really listen, but I did check out the video because somebody said, "Dimitri, you might know this place," and I went and I watched the video, and they actually filmed it at Oheka Castle.
Nice.
As soon as I saw it, instantly I was like, we've investigated this place. This is at Oheka Castle. And so if you want to see what Oheka Castle looks like, the interiors are filmed in Oheka Castle because we've been in those rooms.
Yeah.
We've been in some of these rooms that
If you
they're in.
want to turn down the
grand-
volume,
They come down the grand staircase when you first walk in and stuff like that. They film the whole thing in the front. They're in the gardens.
That's pretty cool.
If you guys want to see what Oheka Castle looks like, check that out. I mean, she doesn't need any plugs from us. God knows she went platinum in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
But you know, it does need a plug. Oheka Castle, that place is fantastic.
Yeah.
So check it out. Really, probably one of my favorite places to investigate on the island.
Yeah, without a doubt. Awesome place.
Very
We definitely
cool.
try to get back in there.
But sometimes we do a show here that has to do with knowledgeable stuff and things. And, you know, we're going to start. We have our Urban Myth and Legend this week. We have our, let's see. We have a bunch of stuff here.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to actually cut out our Theory of the Week this week just to save some time. But we're going to jump into our equipment review, which is a strobe light. We have This Week in Paranormal History, which is November 12th of 1954. Ellis Island closed. Nancy Scurry is going to be going over her social stuff. We have a few fan questions to answer, and then we're going to go over our Lippy Evidence Vault. And this time I'm going to start it off. I'm going to do Grumman Road, and then Mike will give you our Equipment of the Week.
Sounds good.
And so, yeah, Grumman Road. Really cool place. Grumman Road is supposed to be a small road somewhere on eastern Long Island where strange things occur. They say when you drive down this road, the gauges in your car start to move back and forth. So there's a little Bermuda Triangle effect theory going on there. Your radio in your car may go on or off, or the radio stations may change on their own. The reception to your radio will be low, and then you'll hear a lot of static. While you're driving down this road, your car may actually even stall out. If you have a compass, it will give faulty directions, or maybe even just spin around in a circle. Also, it's said that while driving on this road, all of these things start to happen to your car when you turn around and go back to the side roads that you passed while driving on the roads. The road will actually will have disappeared behind you, and then it will reappear later. All these occurrences may be due to some extraterrestrial activity in the area. It is said that this road may cross through a military base, and the events happening there could have been due to some kind of government testing on different types of top-secret equipment. This road may even cross through a strong magnetic field that no one knows is there. This road may cross into another dimension and then come back, which would also explain why the road may disappear and then reappear. Supposedly this road is somewhere on the east end of Long Island, but nobody seems to know exactly where it is. Just as an example, like Mary's grave.
Yeah.
Grumman Road that comes up on the MapQuest and similar searches, it's not there. It doesn't come up. It may be a locally known name for an otherwise unmarked road, or it may be a nickname for a private road that was once part of the Grumman Aerospace Complex on Long Island. I think I found Grumman Road, Mike.
Oh, where?
It's in Middle Island.
Middle Island.
Okay. And I only say this because a long time ago, this had to be back in 2002, 2003, me and my brother and a friend of ours were driving on Middle Island.
Okay.
I've told you about this experience in the past. And I don't remember what road it was. As we were driving on the road, we stopped and we did a mock investigation, a paranormal investigation.
Okay.
We went to the cemetery. There's a church there in Middle Island.
Okay.
And it's right off one of the main roads.
Not Union Cemetery.
Not Union Cemetery in Middle Island. No, not that one. This one was a little bit off the beaten path.
Okay.
And we went in and we investigated and we got out of there. Some people had showed up. We'd hit the dirt, and we hid. We did all that thing. It was before I was a professional, because we don't do that in this field as professionals. And so what I did was we left and we got back in the car and we came out and we took a left to come back out the way we came.
Right.
We're driving on this road and we remembered we took a left and we went straight out.
Mm-hmm.
And we came back to the main road. We took a right. We kept going.
Right.
We literally would drive straight and then pass the same church again on our right-hand side with the graveyard. Happened 4 times before we got off the road. And we were like, what the is up with this road?
That's
and
crazy.
then we were driving an old 1995 Dodge Caravan. And as we're driving, we see another Dodge Caravan, the same color, same year, same make and model, pass us at the same time. And then we got off the road.
That's crazy.
It was one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had in my life. I mean, I'm just saying it could be Grumman Road, but we literally drove for what was 20 minutes on the same road, and we just kept passing like we were just going in a giant circle, but all we went was straight. We made no turns.
Wow.
Okay, well, first off, it could have just been you. No.
We were not drinking. We were not intoxicated. We do not go out and investigate.
You didn't do any acid or anything?
There's no acid. None of us are into any drugs. We don't even smoke pot.
A glitch in the Matrix as it was rebooting.
It was. It was a really weird experience.
I used to work in Center H.
Okay.
And it's just kind of a weird place. People who I would know that would. It's just the place. It kind of just affects you. It makes people strange. I don't know what to tell. I have friends of mine who were in the Center Reach Rescue, and they were like, "We hate," especially like right around the shopping center where like the Denny's and the Walmart right around there.
Mm-hmm.
And they just like would hate going to calls there because people would be like really combative, and it just it's like a weird little, maybe it's all the cell towers. I don't know. Maybe it's just that people are angry going to Walmart, but could just be the Walmart effect. We could just blame them.
Yeah, right.
But no, but just like in general, people that I would know to be just good-natured, happy people, and they just get bristle.
They turn into big giant dicks, is what
happens. A great big bag of genitalia there. But no, it's just a strange place. But maybe the folks in the car were just following you. Maybe
I don't know.
It was
just
or something.
I couldn't see who was in the car, but just the fact that car passed us. It had to have been 2 a.m. It wasn't like it was in the middle of the day or it was early evening. It was 2 a.m.
Where you know where it was exactly?
I don't remember. I gotta ask Chris. Chris was driving. He might remember.
All right.
But there was 4 or 5 of us. It was me. It was my brother. It was my buddy John Ruiz, Matt Foster, and Steve Carabell. It was the 5 of us in the van. And we were just driving around, and we were just going straight.
Interesting.
And then we passed the same church on the right-hand side. I was like, I said to my brother, this is a joke, right? we're just going. And at first we were listening to, the first time we passed, we made a joke out of it. We put on the Ghostbusters soundtrack, and it was...
Because you have that in the car at all times.
Always. Right, because I've been a Ghostbuster as long as Lippy's been around, so...
Right.
But, so we always have the soundtrack on. We're playing Dana Barrett's theme, and we've officially, as of that time, have officially named it the Wandering Music.
Nice.
So when we're lost and don't know where we're going, we play that track. But the first time we played it, it happened to come on while we were driving. And after, like, the second time we passed the church, me and Chris, like, turned the music off. We're like, nobody say a word. We gotta figure out what the hell is going on.
Right. That's crazy.
So it was a really, really weird experience. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. We passed the church. It had to have been 5 or 6 times before we finally got out.
Definitely have to check it out. We'll definitely have to find it and try to figure out. Go down there.
I know I've told you about this in the past. But, yeah, it's very interesting. No, when people tell me and give me directions, tell me I have to go through Middle Island, I always go the other way. I don't want to get stuck in there again.
It's worth it just to go drop all the way down to the expressway, come up and around.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it's not Union Cemetery. That I know, because we've been to Union Cemetery a crap load of times. I know that cemetery.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so... Maybe that's the famous Grumman Road. We don't know.
Maybe it is. You never know.
Maybe it teleported you out east by the old Grumman, and maybe you just didn't realize.
I know, right? Maybe that's where we ended up. Who knows? I'm gonna start giving weekly updates on the haunts in my house. Week 1, Shannon was sitting here during the meeting on Thursday, and I look over and I see a gentleman standing in my kitchen, and as I go to look, Shannon looks first, and I know he's there. And she said she thought a person walked by her and actually touched her on the back of the neck.
That's crazy.
And I was like, was it the child or the old man? Because I wasn't sure what she saw, because I know that there's an old man. When I first bought this house last year, I found out that he bought this house in 1958 with his wife. Wow. He died in 1960. Okay. When I first moved into the house and I started taking care of everything, while I was mowing the lawn in the middle of the day, I saw an old man standing in coveralls looking at me. And just kind of nodded. Right. Disappeared. I looked at him. He looked at me. I nodded. I kept going. Mind my own business. I've seen numerous kids running down my hallway. I thought it was my children. Turns out my kids were sitting quietly on the couch.
That's crazy.
While something else was running in between. My dad saw it. Well, he'll come, because I work from my house with a family business. Sometimes my dad will come to my house and work.
Right.
And when he was working, he kept looking down the hall because he thought he saw somebody poking his head out and stuff. So I think there's a kid that lives upstairs in the hallway. It just kind of just runs back and forth. He's playful. No harm, no foul. But then last night, also, me and my brother were sitting down. We were hanging out. We were watching some TV. We were watching a movie. I forget what we were watching. I think we were watching Star Trek First Contact.
Okay.
And we were just hanging out. And all of a sudden, right out of nowhere, bread just right off my shelf just goes flying across the kitchen. My brother's like, what the hell was that?
Right.
And I go running in there, and he's like, that wasn't lopsided or nothing? I'm like, Chris, I haven't touched the bread in days. It's just sitting there. And I was like, the only thing I touched was this other thing in there, but that's on the opposite end of the cabinet.
Right.
Like, the bread's literally sitting flat on the shelf.
That's crazy.
And it was just right in the middle of the floor with some hot dog rolls. And he was like, he didn't even know what to do. He's like, I haven't had a paranormal experience since I was with Lippy at Burlington Prison. It's like, this is fucking crazy.
It's nuts.
I was like, just don't worry about it. And I just put it back. Because I don't like to draw attention to it if I can't help it. But at this point, I'm just willing to accept it.
Nice.
I think.
That's all you can do.
You know? Yeah, they don't mean any harm. They just want some attention.
They just want love.
They just want love. And,
And your soul. In no particular order.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. We'll talk about that later.
I have no soul, so...
There we go.
I sold my soul a long time ago to get where I am today. Sitting in the basement filming a radio show for YouTube.
But you get to hang out with us.
So. It was a very specific wish, and I've gotten it.
There you go. See? That's what happens.
But yeah, so... I'll update you guys as things happen in this house.
Nice. Yeah, sounds good.
And Shannon, when she first came here, when we first moved in. She sensed the little kids in the hallway.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So
Nice.
but moving on.
Yeah, well, I said I've been getting an uptick in
Shadow
people activity. So
Yep.
I think it might be part of it. Might be this the time of year.
Part of it
Could
might
be,
just
could
be
be.
we bring shit home with us.
That too.
That too.
We bring our homework with us. It's very
Yeah.
possible.
That-
My wife, I noticed it a little bit when we first moved in. My wife started noticing it once we got back from Gettysburg.
Right. You were saying that.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. But things happen that I can't explain, and I don't try to explain them. I just say, okay, funny, and I put them back.
That's it.
Well, he said I have to. We talked about my interview when I applied to join Lippy and Mike, and you asked me, do I have any questions? Do you have any questions for me? You sat back waiting for me to come up with something stupid, and I came up with 2 questions. One, if you could go anywhere in the world to investigate, where would you go? And you said, I'm an American. I want to go to Gettysburg.
Right.
And number 2 was, do you take your work home with you? And you said, oh, heck no. We don't do that.
Sometimes.
So I just want to lodge a protest.
At that moment in time, we had not brought our homework with us. To be fair, we moved into this house, and the work was waiting for me.
There you go.
We're waiting. You're late.
It's not like I moved into this house and the Lippy office was here automatically.
Right.
It was here. I was here for almost a year before we brought this stuff in here.
Right.
But from what I understand, the shadow person went to your house.
Yeah.
So at least
Yeah,
you got him with you.
I moved. Yeah.
Did he come with you?
As far as I'm concerned, he did.
Oh, fabulous.
Seems that way.
Well, what you do is you have to teach him how to clean.
I wish.
Can you take out the trash?
Clean up, make him get a fucking job, man. Go get a job, go make some money, and pay your way.
Show up on YouTube. Do fantastic, spectacular stuff that we can charge people to look at.
He pays you by letting you see his shadowy head around the corner and
then let me take a freaking picture of it then, so I can at least get it popular.
Can we film you?
Let me film it.
Or at least take the trash out. Something. Throw us a bone. Anyways.
All right, we have equipment review
Yeah.
to go over.
Let's.
Strobe light. So
Strobe light.
Strobe light, Mike.
Strobe light. Why don't we use a strobe light? Yeah, a very inexpensive piece of equipment to use. Mainly used during like house investigations. Basically, what the strobe light is used for is when you have the strobe light on a medium setting, it's going to make fast objects appear to slow down. In this case, we're talking about kind of shadow people. Shadow people, when seen and when in motion, they are extremely fast. The idea is if you have a strobe light set up and a shadow person goes in front of it with a camera, obviously taking video, you're able to slow that motion down enough to where it will be caught onto video. That's the idea of using a strobe light. Like a very cheap and easy piece of equipment to use. You could probably find one on eBay probably for less than $25, $30. If you want more information on the strobe light, check out our website, www.liparanormalinvestigators.com. Depending on what size of the location you investigate is going to depend on the size of the strobe light. So, they will make all different sizes, all different kinds, so you don't need anything too crazy. So, but, if you're looking to purchase one, purchase something that's going to fit into your needs. So, but yeah, check it out, and there you go.
Awesome. Now we're going to jump over to Nancy.
All right.
She's typing. She's doing stuff. She doesn't know we cut things out of the show
No,
because we're
that's
strapped
good.
for time.
Not at all. No, let's.
But Scary, it's your social street.
Hot diggity.
Then
Come
we're
on
going to
in.
do our Lippy evidence vault, and we'll wrap it up for the night.
Sure. No, I got a couple of things to talk about. First thing.
Make it quick.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, because because we have a schedule.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. USA Today did an article recently. It's claiming that a cottage in Ireland may be haunted by violent fairies.
Interesting.
Fairies aren't generally violent, I believe, right?
They can be.
Really?
From what people who study the matter, they can be. What's the term? Could be spiteful. Oh, for all the fairies out there listening, please. I don't believe it for a second. I think you folks are wonderful. Please don't hurt me.
Nice.
That's it. But in Laois, Ireland, according to the USA Today article, and of course that'll be up on our Facebook page and all that other good stuff, so you can take a look for yourself and weigh in.
Very cool.
All is not well in the cottage of the edge of the Ballynarrag Bog. Little cottage. Then they have pictures. Looks like a charming little spot. During the last 2 decades, no fewer than 5 inhabitants have died tragically and rather messily. Unsettling events have tapped into a culture of legend and supernatural belief that continues to hold strong in Ireland. One man died of smoke inhalation. He fell asleep with a lit cigarette and died in a fire. Another hanged himself shortly after moving into the house. Another died in a car wreck, and a fourth was found stabbed to death while traveling. One of the theories is that the house was built on a ferry path, like a ferry causeway.
Interesting.
Ferries evidently do not do well to detours.
Do ferries follow ley lines, or what's their path? Is it something different?
It's entirely possible.
Sure.
According to, like I said, folks who study these things, they kind of they have their own realms, but in some places the veil is rather thin and occasionally gets thinner, and they kind of interact.
Interesting.
So if this is a pathway to their realm, they don't like having artificial man-made structures.
Right.
So what some of the locals have done is they've refused to cultivate certain areas that they feel are like ferry property, as you will.
Right.
But right now it's said, so even the houses around this house has been abandoned for over a year. No one they refuse to go in there. It's locked up. It's behind a gate. They don't even go.
Right.
The houses around that house are up for sale.
Wow.
They don't even.
That's crazy.
So because folks have been, they've been said one of them, one died on a trip to Wales. One died of smoke inhalation in a fire at the house. Susan Dunn was found stabbed to death. Her son was accused of the murder. So it said ever since then, they wanted the house destroyed. They wanted the house basically burned, taken out, salt thrown on it.
Wow.
Bring in a
Clerics?
Yes.
Something.
Oh, probably, if it's fairies, they probably would bring in a druid, because they still have those there.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
would bring in a druidic priest and have them purify but right now it belongs to, it's state it belongs to the government of Ireland.
Right.
It's out in the west of Ireland, which is extremely rural, very undeveloped. But yeah, a lot of the property there, houses are owned by the government, and people kind of live there. It's like rent control.
Interesting.
But that would So the government refuses to have the house destroyed, but no one agrees to live there.
Right.
To the point was said where the houses around the house are all up for sale and nobody is touching them. They will give it to you, and they don't even. Yeah. They said they were saying that after the financial.
Is this on USA Today?
It's on U.S. an actual real paper, not News of the World or
Weekly World News.
Exactly. After Ireland's devastating financial collapse in 2008 and recession, housing, there was, people were getting tossed out of houses.
Right.
And so the counties were buying up properties and getting people to move in. Even though there's a waiting list for housing, they're not going in there.
Wow.
They're like, no, I'll stay in my box, thank you. Basically. So yeah, they refused to move in. It's sort of a Mexican standoff. The county refuses to remove it. People refuse to move in, so it's kind of just sitting there. One of the locals has said in the old days we called it a sitag, a Gaelic term meaning a superstition, voodoo, or anything suggesting a supernatural power at work. So they don't know either ghosts or angry fairies.
Huh.
So don't cheese off the fairies. So they just refuse. They consider the whole area cursed, and they won't go near it.
Damn.
So there you are. So yeah, please take a look at it. Like I said, this is USA Today, which is an actual, newspaper with journalists and everything,
Right.
and spell checker. Yeah, take a look to let us know what you think. So I'll have that. I'll have that up for your review.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Also, on a personal note, I have. I'm sure I've told you a billion trillion times. I have ghost stories out on Amazon. I would like to shout out to Tribal Dance Long Island in East Northport. Thank you so much for hosting my reading. We had a great time.
Awesome.
Like I said, we'll have more stuff out. Byron Rempel and I will have it'll be a very zombie Christmas.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yes,
Very cool.
with evil, angry Santa Claus and every other thing. So keep it here.
Nice.
Look me up NM Scary on Amazon. Also, very quickly, I have a review coming up. The lovely folks at Spectral Press in England were kind enough to send me another installment of the Stephen Volk trilogy. For long-time listeners, you remember about a year or so ago, I told you about a novella by the name of Whitsable, which was based on actual events in the life of Peter Cushing. Of course, the horror
I remember that.
actor. So
I'm a long-time listener.
that was an excellent book. I really enjoyed it. Stephen Volk came out with a new book, and I'll be giving you a full report probably next week. It's called Lainstone, and it's based on the life of Alfred Hitchcock.
Interesting.
Very cool.
Again, an excellent. He does a fantastic job. You may not have heard of Stephen Volk. He's kind of a big deal in England.
Okay.
His works have won the equivalent of the British Academy Award for his work with
Wow.
the BBC. He was also embroiled in a bit of a scandal. He did something. It was like a ghost story that they did on the BBC, but people thought it was real and thought that they were being overrun by supernatural to the point where it got put up in the House of Commons. Like, you really need to outlaw this sort of thing.
Wow.
So yeah, but he's an excellent writer.
Nice.
Like I said, if you love horror movies, Hammer films, they said The Birds, we could go on for days, weeks, and months about how much we love horror movies, and these two in particular. Check out Stephen Volk. Like I said, Whitsable and Lainstone is coming out in the spring. Keep an eye out. I'll be giving you my full review next week.
Very cool.
Sounds good.
Yes, and buy my stuff, please, so we can bankroll a trip to the Stanley Hotel. Thank you. And I tuck my garter back in and get off the street before the cops show up.
Nice.
All right, so last but not least, we're going to jump into our Lippy Evidence Vault. And this is the continuation. I think we have maybe one more EVP to play next week before we wrap up the Mount Misery site too. And then the following week after that, we'll play the whole thing.
Good stuff.
But I'll just play this for you. This is the EVP. It's from Mount Misery Road. It's actually an RVP. We should rename it.
Yes.
It's an RVP. It comes in through the walkie-talkies. So it's a radio voice phenomenon. It comes through and says this.
Somebody's here now. Please tell us your name.
For those of you that couldn't hear, maybe Mike wants to shed a little light on that for you.
This is kind of like probably about a minute into the recording, and we got the communication was coming through, so we were kind of like, all right, ask questions, ask EVP questions, and one of our investigations asked, what is your name? And it goes, my name is, and it cuts out. So we could try to play that again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody's here now. Please tell us your name.
There you have it. Yeah, once again, my name is. And it just cuts out. Interesting stuff. And this is live. The difference, the crazy thing here is that the transmission was coming through our walkies, but we weren't asking questions through the walkies.
Right.
And that's the weird thing.
Right.
Some people could say, well, maybe it's somebody screwing around with you. That's fine and all, but we weren't asking questions through the walkies. We were just asking them as we were doing like EVP questions. And it was instant response. So it was definitely an interesting night.
There's also no clicking. Our
right.
walkies beep when you talk.
Right.
Whether we're receiving information or getting it, you hear the click.
It was an interesting night. I'll never forget it. That was such an amazing night. Amazing with evidence and everything. Where I'll never forget that experience.
Yeah,
without a doubt. So, but there you have it.
That's all we have for today, guys. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Ghost News Network. If you want to learn more about us or you have any questions, you can check out our website at www.liparanormalinvestigators.com. Also, you can follow us on Twitter to find out all our hijinks and things like that as we post them. Our handle is at @LIParanormal. You can find us on Facebook. Just search for Long Island Paranormal Investigators, and you can do that as well over at Google+. Also, we have been nominated this year for Best of Long Island under 3 categories in the service department. Well, we've been nominated for 2, and Investigator was nominated for 1.
Right.
But you go into services categories. If you just search for Best of Long Island, it'll tell you the nominees. Go into services catalog. We've been nominated for 2 things: Best Long Island-based website, and we've also been nominated for Best Private Investigator. We've won Best Private Investigator the past few years in a row. We'd like to continue to win Best Private Investigator of the year.
Absolutely.
They treat us to a nice dinner and things like that. It's a great time. But also our resident psychic, Shannon Collins, has been nominated for Best Psychic. So if you can please do us a favor, go over there. You can vote once every 24 hours. If you feel the need to vote more than once, we would not complain about that. And any support you could give us, we would greatly appreciate.
Absolutely.
As always, you can find this on YouTube and Mixcloud.com. If you want to check out more about our YouTube page, go to youtube.com and search Long Island Paranormal Investigators. Check out our urban myths and legends, as well as we have a video up there on EVPs and things like that. So check us out, and until next time, guys, have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.